There it is. That's the story of this football game. Spread them around pretty evenly. Greg Martin. Another punt. Dwayne Thomas bobbles the football. The Giants recover, I believe. Yes, it is. Bottom of the pile, number 58, Jim Files.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, the Giants have the only team in the NFL to win a Super Bowl in 4 different decades. Now, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. You know, what ones there are, because they've only won 4. 86, 1990, 07, and 11. 4 different decades. Now, there's, you know, plenty of other teams out there that have, there are other teams that have played in 4 decades, but the Giants are the only team to win the Super Bowl in 4 different decades. Now, the Giants are, you know, there's 4 other teams that won more Super Bowls than the Giants. The Patriots obviously won 6 with Tom Brady, but I mean, they've only won Super Bowls in 2 different decades. They won 3 in the, you know, they got the 01, 03, and 04, and then they won 3 in the teens, at 14, 16, 18. So they got 2 different decades. You got the Steelers. Steelers have won 6. Thing is with them is they won 4 of them in 1 decade. They won 1973, 74, 78, and 79. They won 2, took 2 years off, and then won another 2. Then they won 2005. They beat Seattle, and then 2008 they beat the Cardinals, and that was a good one. Good. The Giants were the best team in the NFL that year because the Giants went on the road and beat the Cardinals on the road, and then they went into Pittsburgh and they beat Pittsburgh on the road. And the Giants were the best team in the NFL that year, and the Giants might have won back-to-back Super Bowls, but once Plexico Burress shot himself in the leg in that nightclub, the offense just went down the dumper. Unbelievable. Anyway, the Cowboys, they won 5 Super Bowls, but their thing is that, you know, they won 3 in the 90s, they won 2 in the 70s, they won 71, 77, then they won 92, 93, and 95. So they won 5, but only in 2 different decades. The 49ers, they won 5. Good for them. Unfortunately for them, same thing with the Steelers. 4 of them came in 1 decade. Got 81, 84, 88, and 89, and then they won in 1994. They broke up the Cowboys streak. If it wasn't for the 49ers in 1994, the Cowboys would have won 4 straight Super Bowls because the 49ers rolled over the Chargers that year. Chargers, you know, it was Chargers and the Steelers in that championship game in 1994. After the 94 season, shall I say. The championship game was played in early 95, but see, after the 94 season. That was a good championship game. But, you know, they were no match at all for either the Cowboys or the 49ers. So if the 49ers did not beat the Cowboys in that championship game in the 94 championship game, shall I say, the Cowboys would have won 4 straight Super Bowls. Then the Packers, they won 4 Super Bowls, but, you know, with them, they won the first 2, so 2 of their wins were in the 60s. Then they won in 1996. That was Brett Favre's only Super Bowl win, and then they won in 2010. That was Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl win. And since then, Aaron Rodgers just can't seem to get back to the Super Bowl. He gets the championship games, and he loses. Then you got the Giants. The Giants have won 4. And any other teams have, you know, nobody else has won at least 4 Super Bowls. As I said, you know, the Giants got 86, 1990, 2007, 2011. Now the Steelers, you know, the Giants are not the only team to play in the Super Bowl in 4 different decades. The Steelers did. They played in 74, 75, 78, 79, 1995, 2005, 2008, and 2010. So they got the 4 They played in the 70s, they played in the 90s, they played 05 and 08, and then they played in 10. So they played in 4 different decades. Then you got the Giants played in 4 different decades. You know, in the 80s, the 90s, they played in the 2001 where they got annihilated, 2007, and then 2011. The Broncos, they played in 4 different decades. They played 1977, 86, 87, 89. They played 3 out of 4, and they got smoked in all of them. Then they played 1997 and 98. Then they played in 13 and 15. So they got the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and then the teens, 13 and 15. So they played in 4. The Raiders, they played in 4 different decades. They played in the 2nd Super Bowl. They lost to the Packers 33-14. So they played in 1967. They played in 1976 where they won. They beat the Vikings 32-14. So they got in the 60s, the 70s. They played in the 80s, and then they played in 2002 where they got smoked by the Bucks. So they played in 4 different decades. Now, the team that has the most with the game that they're playing tonight, the Los Angeles Rams, have played in 5 decades. Now, basically, this is their 5th Super Bowl. Every time they play a Super Bowl, it's in a different decade. They're 1-3, so they're not. You know, if they win, they'll still only be 2-3. They played the first one was 1979. They lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was a very good Super Bowl. Then they played 1999. That was the greatest show on turf. That's when they beat. That was another great Super Bowl. That's when they beat the Titans on the last play of the game. The dude was stretching the ball out. He was tackled. He was stretching the ball out. And he was like about half a yard short. They won 23-16 over the Titans. Great Super Bowl. Then they lost in 2001 to the Patriots. That was the Super Bowl that started the Patriots dynasty. That was the Patriots' first ever Super Bowl victory. Tom Brady's first ever Super Bowl victory. Then they played in 2018 where they lost once again to the Patriots, and that was it. I mean, the first 3 the Rams played in, 79, 99, and 01, phenomenal. I mean, the 79 didn't come down to the last play of the game, but the 99 and the 2001 did. Real good games. The 18 was a snoozer. That was 13-3. I mean, the Rams had a good offense, and Belichick, that bastard, held them to 3 frickin' points. Unbelievable. What a coach that guy is. And now they're playing in the 2021 Super Bowl. So they played in 5 different decades. But I said, even if they would win, they'd only be 2-3. Now, there's only 4 teams that have a 1,000 that have won all the Super Bowls they've in. But, I mean, 2 of them only played in 1 Super Bowl, and the other 2 have only played in 2 Super Bowls. The Ravens. The Ravens are 2-0. They kicked the crap out of the Giants 34-7 in the 2000 Super Bowl. The Super Bowl after the 2000 season, shall I say. And then they beat the 49ers in a very good one. That's when the lights went out. The lights went out in Georgia. In 2012, that was a good Super Bowl. So the Ravens are 2-0. Then you got the Bucks. Right? They're 2-0. They beat the snot out of the Raiders in 2002 season. That was the Super Bowl that kind of broke up the Patriots, because the Patriots won in 2001, 2003, and 2004. Well, the Bucks wound up winning in 2002. So obviously the Bucks won in 2002, then they won last year in 2020. So the Bucks are 2-0. Right? Then you got the Jets. They're 1-0. They've only been, obviously, in 1 Super Bowl, 1968, Super Bowl 3. Most people consider that to be like maybe the biggest upset in I guess, football history, because I mean, the Colts were 13-1 going into that game. Colts, I mean, I heard anything, anywhere from like an 18-point favorite to a 20, 21-point favorite. It's kind of really tough to, I mean, you they play in different leagues. I mean, how are you really going to give a point differential? I mean, if you want to look at it, the Jets won by 9. If the Colts were 18-point favorites, that's a 27-point swing right there. I mean that's a bit much saying they're 18-point favorite. But I mean, the Colts had a phenomenal season, 13-1. They scored over 400 points. They gave up 144 points in a 14-game schedule. They gave up 10 points a game. I mean, they were really, really good. Really, really good. And I said the only other team is the Saints. They played in one Super Bowl. They're 1-0. Okay, so there's 4 teams that have a winning percentage of 1,000. But if the teams that have played in at least 3 Super Bowls, the Giants and the Packers have the best winning percentage overall. The Packers are 4-1, and the Giants are 4-1. They both have an 800 winning percentage in a Super Bowl. The Packers won in the first 2 Super Bowls. Then they won in 1996. Then they won in 2010. 96 was Favre. 2010 was Aaron Rodgers. They also lost they won in 1997. That's when the Packers went to back-to-back Super Bowls. That gave John Elway his first, and the Broncos their first ever Super Bowl victory was in 1997. The Broncos won back-to-back. Broncos won in 97, the Broncos won in 98. So that was the one Packers loss that they had was in 1997 to the Broncos. And of course, I was just mentioning the Giants lost. Their one loss was after the 2000 season to the Ravens in that Super Bowl. That was just a brutal, just horrible, really horrible Super Bowl. I think there was 396 combined yards between both teams. 396. 244. The Ravens scored 34 points. They had 244 yards of offense. The Giants had 152. This is after sacks yardage was taken away. Giants had 152 yards of offense. The Ravens had no turnovers. The Giants had 5. The Giants lost a fumble, and Collins threw 4 interceptions. One of them got picked off and run back for a touchdown. I mean, it was just unbelievably brutal. I mean, just really horrible. I mean, the Ravens' defense was just that good. You know, when you win a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, you know, that's your defense is doing something good. But I think that is the only Super Bowl ever, all right, where there was a back-to-back Super Bowl. It was 10-0. Giants. It was in the third quarter. It was still 10-0. You know, I mean, the Giants kind of maybe had a little chance. Collins drops back to pass, and Dwayne Starks picks a pass off, runs it back 49 yards for a touchdown. Now it's 17-0. Giants can't do nothing right. This, that, and the other thing. 17-0. Game's over. But on the very next play, Ron Dixon runs the kickoff back 97 yards for a touchdown. Now it's 17-7. Now the fans are going crazy. The guys on the sideline jumping. We got a chance. We got this one, baby. Woo! It's 17-7. Here we come. Very next play, the next kickoff, Jermaine Lewis runs it back 84 yards for a touchdown. Now it's 24-7. Game over. But I mean, 3 plays in a row, 3 touchdowns. I mean, if you don't include the extra points, of course. 3 plays, and not one of those plays was a drive. Not one play was a drive. It wasn't like, it was a long touchdown pass and then a kickoff and then a no. It was an interception return, so there was no drive there. It was a kickoff return, no drive there, another kickoff return, no drive there. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, just it was all in all, just a totally brutal game. Really, really, really bad. But now in the Patriots had the most obviously appearances. They have 11 appearances. The Steelers, the Cowboys, and the Broncos, they got 8 Super Bowl appearances. The 49ers, they have 7. Nobody has 6, right? But the Rams, the Giants, the Packers, the Redskins, and the Raiders all have 5 Super Bowl appearances. All right. So the Giants are 4-1 in the Super Bowl. All right. So, but however, if you combine the championship games from, once we include all the Super Bowls and since the AFL NFL merger in 1970, if you include those, right, the Giants are 9-1 in the championship games and the Super Bowls. They're 5-0 in championship games. Right, they're 9-1. They have a 900 winning percentage. They get to the championship game and the Super Bowl. They're 9-1. I said the only one loss was the one to the Ravens, but they won all 5 of their championship games, and they're 4-1 in the Super Bowl. So the Giants have the best winning percentage of any team, period, bar none, if you combine the championship games and the Super Bowls. The championship games from like 1970. Giants are number one. Actually, the Giants and the Bengals, okay, actually are the only two teams, there's another distinction the Giants have, that are undefeated in championship games. The Giants are going back to 1970. The Giants are 5-0. The Bengals are 3-0. Every time the Bengals get to a championship game, this year was their third one. They wind up winning. They won in 1981. They won a championship game. It was I think it was like 55 degrees below zero with the wind chill factor. They beat the San Diego Chargers in that one. It was, oh my God, I forgot what the temperature was. It was minus 14 or something, but the wind chill factor was like 55 degrees below zero. The Bengals won that one. Then they wound up winning in 1988. That was the last championship game they went to. They won that one. Then they went to the Super Bowl, and they lost 20-16 to the 49ers. And then, so from 1988 to 2021, the Bengals have not been in a championship game. But, so anytime the Bengals get to a championship game, they win. They're 3-0 in championship games. However, they're 0-2 in Super Bowls. They lost both of the Super Bowls they've been into, so. But the Giants have said, once again, they're 9-1. All championship games that they've gone to, they've won. 1986, they beat the Redskins 17-0 in Giant Stadium. Oh, shut them out. Frickin' love it. 1990, one of the greatest championship games ever. Not pleasing to the eye, but I mean, just the 5 field goals the Giants had to kick because they couldn't reach the end zone. I mean, oh, what a game. What a game. Giants won 1990. They won 15-13 against San Francisco. Then in 2000, right, they went to the Super Bowl and got killed. But in 2000, they wound up they beat the Vikings 41-0. The Vikings were good. The Vikings had a great offense that year. 41-0, they beat them. Wow. I mean, the Vikings had Chris Carter, Randy Moss. I mean, shut them out. Unbelievable. The place was freaking rocking. Absolutely rocking. Then the Giants have only had 2 championship games at home. Both of them were shutouts. We beat the Redskins 17-0 in 86, and the only other championship game we've had at home was in 2000. We beat the Vikings 41-0. The other 3 championship games were all on the road, and they were the 3 that we had on the road were just absolutely freaking phenomenal. Not just because the Giants won, but I mean, 2 of them were in overtime, and the last one was on a last-second field goal. I mean, because after the 2007 season, the championship game, we beat the Packers 23-20 in overtime in frigid Lambeau Field. And then in 2011, we beat the 49ers in overtime 20-17. So the Giants at home haven't given up a point in their 2 championship games. And then the 3 championship games they've had on the road were just absolutely phenomenal games. Either a last-second field goal or it was a field goal won in overtime. It was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So, I mean, you look at the Giants, I mean, they're, the 2 of the Super Bowls were, Super Bowl 21, it was 10-9 at halftime. I mean, the Broncos, they missed a short field goal. I mean, and then John Elway took a sack. They were at the 13-yard line. He drops back, and then George Martin crashes in, and I don't know why John Elway didn't try to just step up and maybe run or something. So for some reason he stepped 5 yards into his end zone to try to get around the outside of George Martin, and George Martin just collapsed on it. Very silly safety. But I mean, the first half was close. But then, the second half rolled around. The Giants scored 30 out of the next 33 points, and before you know it, it was 39-13. The Giants were up. So I mean, that game wasn't historically for the Giants' point of view. It's phenomenal. But I mean, as a real wonderful contest to look at and to enjoy from any fan now. And then after the 2000. Super Bowl, they lost 34-7. That was absolutely horrible. That was a horrible Super Bowl. But the other 3, I mean, now you can't put all of them you know, I can't grade anyway. I'm not going to say, well, this Super Bowl 25 was probably the second best Super Bowl of all time. There's been a lot of good Super Bowls, thankfully. But I mean, the Super Bowl 25 when we beat Buffalo 20-19, wide right, you know, that was a great Super Bowl. Then the Super Bowl 42 when we beat the Patriots, who were 18-0. We beat them 17-14, and the last couple plays of the game, all they needed was a field goal. They had a timeout. They threw 2 deep passes to Randy Moss. Thank God we had double coverage on him. Both passes fell incomplete. But if he caught one of those, he get tackled down, you know, in bounds maybe. You know, maybe they can run down the field and clock it, or they could have just called a timeout because they had a timeout. They bring Gostkowski in there, whatever. He kicks a field goal, ties it up. Maybe we go to overtime. Maybe we wind up losing. Maybe we only have 3 Super Bowl victories. Who knows? But then Super Bowl 46, that came down. That was a Hail Mary right down there at the end. We're up 21-17. The ball gets batted up in the air. The Gronk, the ball is about maybe 5-6 feet away from him, and he tries to lunge to get the ball, but it just hits the ground, and the ref goes incomplete. The game's over. I mean, those 3 games were absolutely phenomenal. Really, really phenomenal. Now, I mean, it is what I mean, if it was that easy winning Super Bowls, guys, everybody would be doing it. So, I mean, that's why when we're good, you got to cherish the good times. When it's bad like it is now, you know, when nothing stays the same. You know, you're not good forever, and since you're not good forever, you're not bad forever. And sooner or later, you know, the Giants are going to turn this thing around and hopefully get back to another Super Bowl. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!